Thank you very much, everyone, for coming for this short discussion between all of us, of course, being led by Dr. David Okeyo and Professor Gordon Nguka. We are both at KNDI, the Institute. We are a bit late. We were to start at 6:05, so we apologize for the 15 minutes late. And I just want us to discuss the multi-sectoral approaches in food systems and research. And the way we have structured our side event is that I will introduce the concept of multi-sectoral, giving it a global aspect or general aspect. And then we will show some 2 videos of what we have been trying to do at KNDI to enhance multi-sectoral from in-country. And then we will have a discussion on how this can be upscaled in other regions in Africa, so that it becomes more of a model for the entire Africa. So just to begin the process, I will take us through these few slides. I can show my slides now. So multi-sectoral approaches in food systems and research. Our real concept here is how best can we enhance food systems when it comes to research, and how best can we work together with different organizations when we look at the sectoral areas. When we refer to multi-sectoral approaches, we are thinking about bringing several disciplines and also bringing in several sectors as key players when the focus is on agriculture and food within the context of strengthening food systems regionally. And so we have the passion to spearhead the multi-sectoral models when it comes to matters of policy within the food systems. And the real focus here is towards enhancing malnutrition, enhancing the interventions towards malnutrition, curbing malnutrition in Africa and also in Kenya. So as the Institute, this is our area that we would want to focus on, and we want to give it more of a participatory approach. So when we talk of multi-sectoral approaches, we know that it plays a crucial role in strengthening food systems and research by fostering collaborations and also coordination among various sectors involved in agriculture, nutrition, health, environment, and policy making and social development. And the list is long. Now, these approaches also recognize that the challenges related to food systems are complex and interconnected, requiring integrated efforts. And so it cannot be one man's job. And because of that, it requires multiple stakeholders or collaborators. And some of the key roles of multi-sectoral approaches, therefore, would include different categories. And here we would want to look at the holistic perspective, where multi-sectoral approaches promote a holistic understanding of food systems, recognizing that they involve interconnected components, such as production, for example, processing, distribution, consumption, and waste management. And also by considering these different aspects together, it becomes possible to identify and address the root causes of problems and also to develop comprehensive solutions. So with this, therefore, holistic approach then becomes a core areas that needs to be understood in the dimensions of multi-sectoral interventions. Also, we look at the domain of collaboration and partnerships. And here, multi-sectoral approaches bring together diverse stakeholders, including farmers, researchers, policymakers, civil societies, or civil society organizations, private sector players, and consumers. And by fostering collaboration and partnerships, in this case, we leverage on the expertise also and resources and perspectives of different actors. And this we see as a way of leading to innovation and also effective implementation of policies. So collaboration and partnership becomes another key component in the multi-sectoral domain of interventions. Another area that probably would form part of the discussion is comprehensive problem solving as a key matter to be looked into. Here we are looking at food systems and research involvement in complex challenges. And here the multi-sectoral approaches consider various dimensions of food systems, such as production, distribution, access, nutrition, and sustainability. And by involving multiple actors, these approaches can identify interdependencies and of course address root causes. And then with that, we can develop integrated solutions that consider economic and social and environmental aspect. Then other areas that we would want the discussion to also focus on is innovation and technology. And of course, when we talk of innovation and technology, then we look at approaches that support research and innovation. And we also want to look at interdisciplinary studies and knowledge sharing. And of course, when you do this, then collaboration among researchers like agronomy, nutrition, economic and public health would be very important. And then comprehensive understanding in the domain of innovative solutions. And this could be another area for discussion. We also want to focus also in the last part of this presentation or event, policy coherence. And here we are looking at things that are policy related that fall within the agriculture, health sector, trade, environment, and social welfare. And this is supposed to be for maximizing the impact when it comes to multi-sectoral approaches. We also want to look at the areas of policy development and implementation. And here we are looking at specifically accountability and adaptive management.
Can you hear us?
At the far end. Okay, so I was saying that we also need to focus our discussion on policy development and implementation. And in this case, I said accountability and adaptive management be our critical interest here. And then we have capacity building, that is multi-sectoral approaches geared towards capacity building. And this, we look at cross-sector collaboration, knowledge sharing, domains or platforms, and skills development. And then enhance competencies of stakeholders in food systems and research, training programs, workshops, exchange platforms. And then this is for sustainability and resilience in the long term. Then we also want to look at systems thinking and resilience from the discussion and the videos. Here, our main focus is to consider interconnections and feedback loops. And here we look at things like diverse perspective, knowledge, and resources, which also include resource sharing, then sustainable interventions. And of course, here, the key thing is that we want to demonstrate that multi-sectoral approaches are crucial for strengthening food systems and research, and of course, fostering collaborations, coordination, and holistic understanding of food systems, and enabling comprehensive problem solving, innovation and technology, and of course, policy and capacity building. So with this as a background theory, I would want us to share some of the things that we have been doing and we have started doing at KNDI that would still be upscaled for regional collaborations. And with this, therefore, I would want to stop this sharing and then I get to the video.
Can you please
So I can say that
this
for a while. So it will take about 15 minutes.
A cross-cutting research, which is on basic nutritional sciences, laboratory work. And this is going to also inform the country in a number of issues, including those in nutrition, agriculture, and even other sectors. So we just wanted the PS to witness that this process is also going on. And so,
Just a minute.
PS, we are going to sign this with Professor Nguka.
Okay.
Professor Nguka will sign on behalf of ANSRC. I will sign on behalf of KNDI. Now he no longer becomes the KNDI accreditation chair in this context. And so we will just do it in simple terms as a symbol. And we want as many as are happy for this to give us a thumbs up, including those online. And this will lead to production of PhD students, master students, and also research that is going to be a solution. For example, we were all just about to say that we are looking at the cotton value chain, and we want to see what can we do with the cotton seed, for example. So from production, we know income, and from the seed itself, we know oil, and we see nutrition coming in handy in cotton value chain, and animal feeds also. So this is an area that we can start early and do research. So thank you very much. It will just be sitting here, and we demonstrate, then Professor Nguka and myself can now follow each other in the office, and we finish the business there. Thank you very much. So is our witness. I'll give you a chance to talk on behalf of ANH2023, and then we see how far.
Thank you very much, the PS, the chief guest. Today's a beautiful day because we've seen the value chain moving from.
No, you will not hear that, but the component is coming. There was no microphone there.
Most of which have been done outside the classroom. Now we want to bring it home so that we are able to conduct high-level research. We are able to conduct high-level research in country that is informed by the local evidences and not evidences from Europe and the Americas that is informing here. Even FAO, I'm happy about FAO activities because they have talked about domestication of knowledge. And that is what this has brought to us. So hiking it to research level at master's and PhD is key. And therefore, that is why we have a team here, Dr. Edwardina Ndine, who was formerly actually in Nakosti, and now is out. She's retired but not tired. She's doing a lot of research. We have Professor Bonnie Dunbar from the University of Nairobi. And then we have Dr. You can see it is women power. Those of you, you can imagine. We have Dr. Ndirangu, that is the director of Columbia Global Center, and also hosting the ANSAC. Now, these staff ladies are here to also witness the signing. I am the chair of the African Nutritional Research Consortium, elected 4 years ago. Now we are ending our first term to be able to begin the second term, if possible, if the consortium will agree. And I think this is one of the best outputs that we are going to have. And we are joyful because we are now going to jointly, together with you and KNDI, going to seek for funds to train our people on cutting-edge research, together with FAO. Thank you very much. So we will just demonstrate. May I, if you don't, if you allow, I would like to just call Edwardina, because of women power, to say something, and then welcome. Just a short one.
Thank you very much, Bwana PS, and I acknowledge my friend Hamisi. It's been years with him. I've had 30 years in policy. So when I heard Jane talk about the pathways, I was very excited, particularly when you talk of income and you talk of gender. And Bwana PS, when you mention the constraints, they are real. They are real. But we need research because most of those women in the rural are unreached. Their story is untold. It's undocumented. The constraints they face can only be dealt with by technical experts and specialists and a multi-sectoral approach. So I'm very excited. I'm part of this team. I also want to mention in another life, We are also pushing that women cooperatives be facilitated, established and be facilitated. And we are happy to say this is where we met with Hamisi at the Lake Region Economic Bloc County Governor Summit. So the story is long. We hope that those value chains can be addressed and women can make informed choices. They can have household income and community resilience can be ensured. So we are happy as ANSAC to be part of that story, and definitely we document the story and we'll make a difference, and we hope to work closely through your office. Thank you.
Buona PS, it's an honor to be in your presence and in the presence of everybody who is here today to witness this signing of this MOU. Thank you, KNDI, for your partnership in this process. We look forward to working with you to bring about higher levels of research and engagement not just in Kenya, because the 18 institutions that Professor Nguka is mentioning are not just from Kenya. They are from the East African community. So we'll be having a footprint that is broad. My name is Murugi Dirango. As was said, I'm the director of Columbia Global Center in Nairobi. We represent Columbia University in New York in the region. And let me on that part say that some people who are also have been with ANSAC for a long time and were part of the early days of ANSAC include Professor Richard Deckelbaum, who is at Columbia University, and Professor Deborah Wogomoth. They are also part of this network. Of course, they're in the US, so they would not be here, but they are online, I suspect. Yeah. And of course, Professor Ntambi, he's from Uganda originally, but in Wisconsin. We also have Professor Musia from the University of, is it Dar es Salaam? Yes, agriculture. So this is Sokoine University in Tanzania. So this is a regional outfit, I must say. But you know, what you said about, what you talked about today, about the different sectors working together, the idea of breaking silos is very critical, because we've always worked in these vertical silos within our area. And it's interesting when Bwana Hamisi here, Dr. Hamisi, you mentioned that nutrition, you know, where is she? she was bringing the nutrition. You know, so you'd imagine that agriculture and nutrition are very intertwined, but it's very interesting to understand that people are still working in silos. And so this is the effort that ANSAC is going to put into this process, to bring together people, not just in nutrition, not just in agriculture, private sector, even bring in business people to think about, even as they're developing food for the food industry, how are they integrating nutrition information? So we are honored to be here, and thank you very much.
Forgive me if I don't sound like, recently I had hip surgery. I'd just like to go back to Deborah and Richard Deckelbaum from Rockefeller, Columbia University in New York. They have had for many years the Institute of Human Nutrition, which has been rated the #1 PhD graduate program in the United States, which means up there in the world. And they, about 15 years ago, I met with Richard. I've been in Kenya now for some 25 years. And I met with Richard because Deborah and I used to know each other, and in his office, and he was doing nutrition, well, of course, in the Institute, and I was working with the MP Shaw in nutrition and AIDS. And we got together and we said, well, what we really need in Kenya is an infrastructure in nutrition to do basic research. And just one example, I think, of how important research is and where we're going. It's not just about the food we're growing, but things like pesticides and even the plastic products we have are now known to produce estrogens, like things that are causing obesity in children, and it can be passed on through the germline. And those kinds of things, that it's not just what you eat, it's also the chemical exposures. And these are the kinds of things we need to do research on in combination with nutrition and food to look about the whole health picture in nutrition. So I think it's really exciting to see us going this far.
Thank you very much. So you can say we have a whole team. FAO has now joined us. KNDI has joined us. We have the entire Ministry of Agriculture, which we never used to talk. I'm very happy, Bwana PS. Today has just brought in some hallmark that I've never believed. I think God works in very miraculous ways in doing things.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Hamisi Williams. I know we've been partnering together in many areas. And I want to assure you that the partnership will continue. We still have a lot of work to do, looking at the areas that we are supposed to cover. In fact, I think it is the first time we are now handling issues of nutrition. We keep on talking about food and nutrition. That's an area that we have not really gone too deep, because we've been talking about food. What kind of food are we producing? So me and you, we still have a lot of work to do. I also want to thank other development partners who have supported us in this program, and specifically also the CEO of KNDI, whom I met for the first time when we were discussing about this framework that we were launching at Safari Park, and he promised that he's going to invite me. I didn't know where he was, where he's best, but I agreed. So definitely I had the duty to come here. Even if you are hidden wherever you are, I will definitely have come. And I'm told that also on their way, the CECs from the counties that had been invited, because they play a critical role, the government agencies that are here, and the nutrition and dietetics professionals, I'm told there are 6,000 following us in this event specifically. I want to greet you and say thank you for following this. Other regulatory bodies that support the sector, and our training institutions that you have talked about that also do the capacity building and training on this specific area, invited guests, distinguished participants. Allow me to say good afternoon. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be with you this afternoon, to witness again the relaunch of the national training package on national training package on nutrition, sensitive agriculture and food systems. I was informed that indeed we did the launch at the site event, but this one is specific in the sense that we are now reaching out to the entire technical teams that play a role in this area, and we want to sensitize them on this particular document that we developed together with our development partners, and now we want to make it for official use, and I think that has been adopted, and I'm very happy. Thank you, team, for working so hard on that area. I just mentioned that I was present at the Safari Park Hotel together with the team from FAO and other development partners when this special side event of the during the fourth National Nutrition Symposium on eradicating malnutrition in all its forms, stepping up the political, the multi-sector and interdisciplinary actions towards nutrition resilience. You can see how we've broadened it. We do not just leave it to the professionals. I think the team worked very hard and realized that we need all the sector. We need everybody to come in this space. Our politicians, for example, the political class, who most of us and most of the masses listen to, we want to bring them also on board to talk about issues of nutrition, so that when they are leading, they know who are these people they are leading. And Miss has just given us the quotations here, and if they are able to live by those quotations, and then they will be leading a healthy nation. So ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, those who have participated in this, I I take cognizance of the fact that the malnutrition bears a multi-sectoral approach. If you are to eradicate it, no single professional, for example, that can claim to eradicate malnutrition can say, I'm a nutritionist, but you need everybody. And I'm very happy that my team from the Ministry of Agriculture have decided to take a different approach on this issue. That means, as we engage our production, we need then to be more sensitive about the nutritional value. Get it right, nutritional value of that product that you're producing. Because if you don't handle it well, for example, then it loses that nutritional value. If you don't manage it well, post-harvest, then again it loses that nutritional value. So it is important that as we engage in production from day one, we need to look at how are then we going to keep this to have the nutritional value that is being produced for. So as mentioned, the agriculture sector and food systems influences people's dietary patterns and have an impact on nutritional outcome, and are a critical component of the Kenya's budget. So that means, as we're budgeting as well, we must make sure that we look at the nutritional aspect of it in terms of the nutritional security that we've been talking about. So sustainable agriculture and food systems have a key role in improving food security and nutrition, while promoting food safety and healthy diets. Somebody said, food is not food when it's not safe. You can produce food, but as long as it's not safe, I don't think it will be food. Nobody will consume that food. So the Kenya government is committed to transforming agri-food systems and is ready to deliver on healthy diets as a vision in various documents for scaling up nutrition in the agriculture sector and food systems as a sustainable measure for alleviating food and nutrition security. So ladies and gentlemen, as we launch this training package, let us remember the 4.3 million Kenyans who are in need of humanitarian assistance and the 942,000 malnourished children aged between 6 to 59 months. And in addition, the 134,000 pregnant and lactating women who are in need of treatment. Our Constitution enshrines that food and nutrition security is a basic human right, and no one should go to bed without food. This calls for commitment to all of us in ensuring that Kenya, or Kenyans, throughout their life cycle enjoy at all the times safe food in sufficient quantities and quality that satisfies their nutritional needs for optimal health. As you are aware, over the last 4 years, the country has experienced recurrent drought, just like other countries in the Horn of Africa, where millions have faced acute food insecurity and malnutrition. The 2022 drought is a record, as mentioned by my colleague Hamisi, that it was the worst drought in the last 40 years. And as mentioned earlier, these statistics, we indeed lost approximately 2.6 million livestock. And it was one of the seasons where we had the lowest maize productions at 34.4 million bags compared to our annual demand of 52 million bags, both for human consumption and livestock. Now those are the statistics in terms of the losses. If you quantify that, it's so much. For me, the livestock sector, I think it's approximated to be about $1.8 million, which then affects the income of our people, and you know what it does at the end of it. So in order to meet the maize shortage, the country relies on imports by private sector and relief agencies. It is important to note that the country has been unable to meet her nutritional maize requirement due to increasing human population and reducing agricultural land and productivity. Thus, the total imports of maize in the year 2022 increased to 9.9 million bags compared to 4.1 million bags imported in the year 2021. So as we look at these challenges that we are now facing, one, it's obvious and we all know that we are in the era of climate change. And we must discuss issues of climate change and how then do we handle our production systems. We are also in the era of low use of farm inputs due to high costs. We are also in the era of declining soil productivity or soil fertility, which I think we also need to move to that area. How do we address this issue of soil fertility? It's about the nutrients. Human beings require nutrients. Our soil requires the right nutrients to produce the right kind of food that we need. So we need to address this as well. We're also having challenges in the side of pests and diseases that are increasing. We have different pests that are now we are facing. For example, we had the fall armyworm. As we are trying to grapple with the fall armyworm, then we had what's called the African fall armyworm. So you can see that these pests are manifesting themselves in different. Tomorrow, I don't know which I'll call it what, because there'll be another new one that is maybe resistant to the products that we have developed to fight it. We also have challenges in the market side, in the sense that we have the market infrastructure. As we produce, we must ensure that we produce for the market. But the challenges are that do we have enough infrastructure to be able to make our food safe? For example, and if you look at it in terms of logistics, the cold chain facilities in our country is not adequate or sufficient to address that. So we need investment in that area so that we are able to ensure that whatever is produced is utilized well. Now, one of the most difficult things, and we have been saying this in forums, and we have experienced it when you go to the field, is that we have a big challenge. The challenge is we don't have the youth coming to take up that the space of agriculture. Our farmer is an aging farmer in agriculture. The average age of our farmer is about 59. I can see in terms of productivity, what's the productivity of that farmer? He's not able to move to the market to go and sell the produce and come back and continue with their farming activities. So we need to attract the youth into this space so that they are able to support in production. Then another challenge that we are facing, and I hope if the CECs are here, is the challenge of extension services. The counties now are performing their functions, which are devolved functions, specifically in agriculture, and therefore they need to support the farmers by employing extension experts to be able to support the farmers with the new technology, new skills, new innovations in the agriculture sector. So some of these are the challenges that we are facing, and I want to say that as a government, we are undertaking some of the initiatives to address and mitigate issues of food insecurity arising from these challenges that we are facing. And this includes fertilizer subsidy to cushion farmers against high cost of fertilizer. Also, wherever we have shortage of maize in the country, we do grant what's called waiver on importations of food and animal feeds, so that it can subsidize and support the farmers and support the consumers as well in terms of reduction of the cost. We're also ensuring that in the climate change space, we do provide what's called the insurance programs to mitigate against climate change and to ensure that the farmers' investments in terms of agriculture are secure in case of climate change, in case of drought, in case of floods. All this is now being supported by the insurance programs. Further, we are also using what's called the climate smart technologies and innovations. We've embraced the climate smart agriculture to ensure that we do produce during these very difficult times where we have climate change. And we're also collaborating with other sectors, for example, as mentioned, health, social protection, education, and others, and other partners to address the issues of nutrition and, and make sure that we have what's called multi-sectoral approach. We must produce for a targeted community. If we are to look at this area, what are the challenges? If it's, for example, calling them, if we need an area which requires drought area, for example, I mean, ASAL counties, for example, what we need to do in those ASAL counties, we know their livelihood is livestock. So we target more interventions in the livestock sector. If the high rainfall areas, we make sure that we target more interventions related to with the food production, making sure that whenever they are producing food, we secure them. We must tell them, take your insurance cover. And we have also gone even further to support the livestock sector and make sure that we develop a livestock insurance component, something that we were not used to. We used to talk about insurance in case there is a disease that will kill the animal. But we are saying we need now to be more innovative and develop an insurance package or a product that looks at the change in climate. If there is drought, then the pastoralist is paid to purchase animal feed to be able to sustain the animal for a period of time that they are facing the challenge. So I just want to mention, ladies and gentlemen, then the other one, of course, we are promoting youth in agriculture through the Enable Youth program. We are supporting the youth, giving them credit facilities and incubating them so that they are able to invest in agriculture and attract them to go into agriculture. I just mentioned some of the programs then that we as a government are undertaking. Number one is we have what's called the crop and livestock insurance programs. This is being done. We have what's called the National Value Chain Support Program, the Small Scale Irrigation and Value Addition Program. We have the Kenya Cereals Enhancement Program. We have the Kenya Climate Smart Support Program. We have Towards Ending Drought Emergencies Program, the Livestock Commercialization Program, Livestock Value Chain Support Program, the Livestock Insurance, that's a product called De-risking, Inclusion, and Value Enhancement for the Pastoral Economies. So we have a specific interventions and programs that looks at each of our segments and each of our regions depending on the challenges they are facing. So ladies and gentlemen, finally, let me just say that I want to take this opportunity again to thank you, the participants, and also to thank our development partners who have stood by us. And indeed, as per your colleague, you are the part of the United Nations team. And therefore, we being member states, we do feel that FAO, you're playing a critical role in supporting the member states. Dr. Amisi, I want really to thank you, and I want to tell you that don't get tired. The country still needs you. We have to walk this journey together as the development partners. So I think FAO has gone deep into this, and they have told us that, and they have supported us in developing this training manual. And you've just said that it's not going to end here in Kenya. You are now going beyond the borders. And I also want to thank my colleagues, the principal secretaries, who looked at this document and found it fit that it therefore needs accreditation, it needs the endorsement at the high level, at the policy level, which then makes this document to be accepted nationally and also to be adopted globally. So, ladies and gentlemen, and specifically again, KNDI, I know you have taken the time to prepare for this, and actually this is your product. I think it was specifically designed and produced for your use. Because as you develop your career, your curriculum, you need to look at what are we doing in the agriculture sector, for example. So it starts from you, because you've got to address the issue of challenges of nutrition. Then you have to tell them, how and then do you produce? We want you to speak about nutrition and the diet, and just tell them how to produce if you are to have this product. So it has to go beyond your professional calling. You have to step further and say, know how to produce it. So we are looking at you and as an institution that regulates over 10,000 professionals. If all of them join hands, I so believe this message of nutrition will go far in ensuring that our children, our lactating mothers, become safe, because without them, again, there will be no nation. There will be no nation. If you lose our children, then we are losing generations. Then we are losing our whole nation. So let's all play our role and ensure that this issue of nutrition is taken seriously. And I'm very happy that you did not just take it as a document. You have really entrenched it and made it part of the continuing professional development, the CPD package. So that if you have not done this, then you miss some points and you will not qualify to be called a professional nutrition and dietitian, which is a good thing for us. That means the regulations then will make sure that everybody comes on board. If you want to call yourself as a professional nutrition and a dietitian, therefore you need to have understood this document. So for us as a ministry, we are very proud of you as a new partner that has come to partner with us to provide what's called the last mile connectivity. Because that's what we are missing, the last mile connectivity.
David, can you
Now
hear
you
us?
have come in to provide that last mile connectivity. So
Thank you. So thank you very much. I think we may have lost some time, but I hope it gives a tip of what can be furthered for discussions.